Hey yo, it's your boy Mula Ranks, and we back again with another episode on Kasicast TV, and we are at Ebenest Rest, and I'm out here with my niggas side by side. I'ma let them introduce themselves before we start indulging in the conversation today. And on my right is Gazman. Left. Okay, so welcome to Kasika's podcast, Majita. So, obviously, these are not guests, as you know. These are friends of the show. So today we will be mainly talking about, matters that affect our economic situations, as we know, like there's a lot going on in our country right now. Gents. So on the podcast, mainly we talk about some social issues, but then today I want us to indulge in the economic state of our country. Sure. So like, what comes to your mind when I say economic issues of our country? Anyone, you can ask.
First thing first, when you talk about the economic issues, obviously unemployment is one of them.
Okay.
Lack of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Why as a country we're not treated the same, and opportunities obviously are not the same. So economic issues, you're talking about those things and more.
Okay. And you, my brother?
Yeah, basically, I'm going to go over what he said. Like he spoken the main issues.
Mainly is like the unemployment and
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like it's very high, like the percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But today I want us to focus on, yes, unemployment has been going on, I don't know since when. Today I want us to focus mainly on what's going on between South Africa, Rwanda and Congo, and also maybe we can add on a little bit of America in there, As you know, like currently there's a war going on in Congo.
Yeah.
We all know it. There's a war going on in Congo. And so what do you think about that before I start asking specific questions? Or like between the war between the two nations, Congo and Rwanda?
Obviously, my brother, as you know, war is never a good thing. Because many soldiers are dying. Last time I checked, South African 13 soldiers were killed by the M23. So it's never easy losing, but what's to protect a country and stuff. And what's making it worse, we don't know or all we know they are dying because the government doesn't say anything. So war and killing is never a good thing, because it will cause many people from Congo by escape a country because of the war. Obviously, impact it's a war. You're in unemployment, starvation, the water resources are polluted. So country like matata.
Yeah.
What about
it's affecting a lot. Yeah. Like it's not even the three countries right now. Like it's involving some other countries, like the neighboring countries and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in M23, Rwanda, that they did like it affect like even our country, like it's getting affected because we're attacked from other angles. From now, there's America attacking, there's Congo attacking, like.
So basically, I was trying to find out, but then I'm just gonna summarize from what's in my head. So basically, the war is based on, right now, currently as we speak, Congo is the most richest country in the world based on minerals. Right now, so the war is based on. So Rwanda is part of Congo, ne? But then they separated. Is the eastern side of Congo, Rwanda. So they separated that side because I think Rwanda is that side of Congo that has no minerals. So they decided to exclude themselves from it and named that part of land Rwanda. So there's who do we call this? The leader of Rwanda called is called Kagame
Yeah.
or something. So Kagame is fighting against Congo because he knows or Congo is rich. So he wants to benefit from that. You know, he's fighting or like why were we excluded from the part of the country? Because now our side of the land has nothing. Now you want to, you know.
Yeah, take from the
Yeah, so basically Kagame got backings from France. Or like, if you want to fight against Congo, it's fine. You can fight. We will equip you with, you know, all resources. Obviously, military resources. So, and this war has been going on, I think, since 2009 or something.
Damn, 2009.
Yes, when Robert Mugabe was still around and what. So, and then Congo then went to SADC. Obviously, SADC is the southern region of, like, the countries that are in the southern hemisphere of Africa, which is Zambia, Zimbabwe, you name them. You know, yeah. Went to SADC to seek help so that they can protect their country against Rwanda, because Rwanda was now backed by France. So SADC succeeded all these years in defending Congo from Rwanda. But now, currently, I think Rwanda has more resources and power. That's why now they decided to go to the military base of where the soldiers of South Africa and Zimbabwe were at and attacked those soldiers. That's where the 13 soldiers from South Africa got killed and whatnot. Now, the situation is, as you know, or like, South Africa is not in good terms with America. We all know, because like even Donald Trump has pulled off the financial aid that was coming to South Africa. I think it was 17% of contribution to the HIV and AIDS medication, TB medication, and transgender research. So 17% of that money came from America. So now with that being said, or like, since South America and South Africa are not in good terms, the dangers are America will be aligning themselves with Rwanda now to boost Rwanda to fight
South Africa.
no, not necessarily South Africa, to fight Congo, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, South African soldiers are in Congo as we're speaking right now. But then, without going any further, with what I've told you right now, what are your thoughts before I get into further details with what I've told you right now?
But from what I know, South Africa is not also defending Congo from the bottom of the heart, from what I know. Because we must look at the fact that Motsepe and Ramaphosa, they have shares in Congo. So they know that if Rwanda take all the minerals in Congo, they will also take a loss.
Yes.
So they are not doing this because they want to. They are doing it because they are trying to protect their pockets. And obviously, we get 17% from America. We know that if America stops funding South Africa, we're going to have a lot of economical problems, because we know that 17% of the funding from America goes to the health sector, where doctors and other people who work in the health are paid. So if this happens, it doesn't mean we're going to struggle like bad, but it's going to be bad for us, because many people I think are going to die if the ARVs and stuff stop coming to South Africa. So, and from also what I know, this thing only started a week ago because of the new land policy that Ramaphosa introduced, the Exploitation Land Act. Only started a week ago. And from what I read, the person who is behind this Trump Act is Elon Musk, because it says that Elon Musk didn't like the law. So he went to Donald Trump and told Donald Trump that no, South Africa are doing something that is very bad because they are taking land from the owners of the land, not looking at the fact that the land was stolen back in the days. And Nelson Mandela came up with the policies that they are going to try to take back the land, but they didn't. If you look at the stats, 73% of the land is owned by white people.
Yes.
And white people in South Africa, I think they're only 8% of the population.
Yeah.
So black people are more than white people in South Africa, but black people, they own less than 7% of the land. So this Expropriation Land Act was introduced so that they can take land from landowners for the use of public use.
Yes.
They can also compensate you.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk went running to Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump, that's when started doing an investigation that if South Africa are doing this, then funding
Must
will
be
not-
pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you-
and I think it's also a strategy. I think, what's this, America? I think they're trying to provoke what you call these BRICS
Yes.
by attacking the weakest link.
Mhm.
You see, South Africa is the weakest link by far.
Yes, yes, in the BRICS, yeah.
Yeah. I think they're trying to what's the word for it? I'm losing the word. To attack BRICS.
By going for the weakest link.
Yes,
the
yes,
BRICS.
yes.
Yeah,
The
right.
weakest
Because if you may remember, BRICS wanted to introduce their own currency. So
Yes,
this meant that if they introduced their own currency, they will stop using the US dollar, which
Yes.
America didn't take very lightly. So I think that's why Donald Trump is also doing this.
Yes,
Because he's
yes.
trying to punish us for that. As we said, we are the weakest link in the
Yeah.
BRICS. So that's why he's coming for us, not for big countries like Russia
Yeah.
and China, because he knows that they are very powerful countries, those ones.
Yeah, so I'm right now I'm just gonna read an extract that I just found here on Google. So this was published Thursday, 6 February. So the Portfolio Committee on Health received a comprehensive briefing from the Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, regarding the recent withdrawal funding from the United States Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. During the briefing, Minister Motsoaledi highlighted PEPFAR's critical role in supporting various health initiatives, stating that approximately 7.8 million South Africans are living with HIV and AIDS, the highest number globally. The minister emphasized that PEPFAR funding has been instrumental in addressing the needs of the 27 high-burden districts, which were selected for support based on the specific criteria. Which I will try to summarize this because it's long. Let me look for something. During the discussion on the U.S. withdrawal on PEPFAR funding, committee members had questions about the immediate and long-term implications of this decision. Members expressed concern that the suspension of funding could lead to significant disruptions in HIV prevention and treatment services, particularly in the 20 high-burden districts that rely heavily on PEPFAR support. But then, this basically... But then I think what I saw in the news, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi specified, or obviously 17% of the funding that support the HIV and AIDS treatment and TB what comes from America. But then I don't think Donald Trump, what he's basically doing, because he's not doing making such decisions based on African countries and whatnot, because even with Canada, he stopped Canada from exporting cars to America. Why? Because he says America don't need cars from Canada because they can make their own cars and whatnot. What it simply means, Donald Trump is just making decisions that best benefit America right now. But then, with that being said, I don't think the 17% that was coming from America will have any big impact on the HIV and AIDS treatment, because with that being said, it opened up the market for the let's say the nations in the BRICS community to say, you know what, we've got infrastructure, we've got researchers who can produce these drugs. You get what I'm saying? It's not like America is the one that has money or infrastructure to produce these kind of drugs for people. So it opens up the market for China to can, help South Africa in this case, because it's obviously South Africa is part of the BRICS. So with that being said, Donald Trump, I think with this move, I don't think he made a very smart move, because with this move, it gives South Africa more reason why it should stick with the BRICS membership. Because America, obviously, we know, sucks all the countries' money. They're using people, America. We all know this. So with these BRICS, now that South Africa is slowly isolating themselves from America. Because with this being said, another thing will fall, or like we're pulling this from South Africa. Another thing, once again, will be followed, or like we're pulling this again from South Africa, and South Africa will completely be free from America's control. And with that being said, this will give BRICS power, and then with BRICS gaining power, it will have its own currency, which is South Africa is part of. And the currency will be used by other nations, because you remember there were other nations who joined BRICS, but that they are not mentioned in the abbreviations.
Yes,
like, what are the other nations that joined BRICS?
Was it Egypt? No.
Like countries like, I think even Egypt. Let me search. Nations.
I hear you. What you're saying is also correct, but this thing, it has an advantage and a disadvantage. If we pull ourselves away from America, we may be facing sanctions. There are many things that are from America that we won't be getting from South Africa anymore. And obviously,
Which is things like besides the HIV treatment and TB treatment.
I can't really name them, but as you know, South Africa.
I think that's the most important thing that comes from America. Besides that, they are taking from us.
Okay.
Because America has got mines. They're taking minerals from South Africa based on that they've been supplying South Africa with the treatments. They've got Anglo-American mines. They've got gas stations with BP, you name them. All these things that are American owned. America is benefiting more from South Africa than South Africa is benefiting from America. There's a lot of things that America is benefiting from. Just that Donald Trump thinks he's playing a mind game, but then he's losing. Or the other nations that joined the BRICS are Iraq, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iraq, and United Arabs. So with these nations within the BRICS has a lot of power, because we know United Arabs, crude oil is there. We know there's a lot of things in Ethiopia, there's coffee, so within that, South Africa being part of BRICS, if this thing of currency, if it succeeds and BRICS starts having its own currency, and these nations stop using the US dollar as their currency, other countries will see the benefit of that, and then they will join after that. Now that will be the fall down of the American reigning power. And with that being said, as more countries join BRICS, America will be the face of BRICS in terms of representing Africa, because Egypt, Ethiopia, and what is it? Indonesia. Indonesia is in Africa, ne?
No.
Oh, it's Asia. With all other countries that are from Africa, they will be led by South Africa. Economically, they will be led by South Africa. Why? Because all these other countries, both Egypt, they are not named within the BRICS, but they are part of BRICS, but they are not.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Which is a very good thing, because if this thing succeeds, because life is all about making decisions. Whether you make a bad decision or whether you made a good decisions, you have to gamble. And this is the gamble that South Africa is taking up. And even with this decision, Donald Trump is just gambling. Or if I pull, they will back. Because if we back Donald Trump now, it's over for South Africa. Because now the negotiation terms will change. Or let's say they were getting 2 rands from South Africa. They will say now we no longer want 2 rands, we want 4 rands. Because they will have the power in the negotiations. Because now you are begging them to say no, do not stop the funding. But I think already Donald Trump has signed the agreement, or like the funding has been stopped officially. And Cyril released another statement, or it's fine, it's okay, you can stop. The nations in the BRICS will help South Africa. I mean, it's not, because then the medication, HIV and TB is from the World Health Organization. And then America contributes 10% within the World Health Organization. So the 90% that's left there can produce those drugs. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple thing. So I think Donald Trump right now, it's not even a thing of he's attacking African countries. It's just separating America from all other countries, because he wants America to now start benefiting real time. Because even Canada, Mexico, he canceled all the things, all the ties and relationships that were made by America with other countries. He cut all the ties. He wants to renegotiate new deals with those countries. So it's just a strategic, thing, or like, you know what, I'm going to make America the greatest thing again. And this is it's a very bad move. For me, it's a very bad move. Just wait and see. Yes, America is well equipped, especially with the military, and don't do it. But then we've got China, we've got Russia. What do you need? There's no way America will provoke China when it comes to war. There's no way America will provoke Russia when it comes to war. Obviously, if America attacks South Africa direct, it will do some damage. If it attacks a direct attack, not maybe through Rwanda, that's if it attacks through a direct attack, we are in danger there. I don't want to lie, because then if the attack takes place, a lot of cities will be demolished. By the time we go ask for help from the BRICS nation, the damage will be already done. So then it's a mind game, this thing. So we can be worried or whatnot and what. Now I'm just saying, gents, let's get ready. This is a war. You can't you can't be an underdog all the time. You want to be an underdog to America all the time. Mandela has been crying about America since he was still alive in the 1990s.
So what you're saying is that we should get ready to go into war with America.
Yes.
But we won't win.
I'm not saying we are going to win. If there's a war, we are going.
No. That's the suicide mission.
No.
That's the suicide mission.
Because
a big one.
wait, it's like what?
A big one. America. Okay, let's look at
Wait,
America.
it's like what? If America comes to South Africa and gives all the white people all the military equipment that they need, né? We know white people are minority, but then we know black people, we don't have the resources and whatnot. If America gives all the white people the resources they need to fight black people, do you think we are going to win that war? Within the population of the white people, not America coming to, no. Do you think we are going to win that war?
Yeah, we are going to win that.
How are you going to win it?
Okay, let me take it back. Looking back at history, the Shaka Zulu versus Britain war.
Yeah.
You know that the Shaka Zulus used spears and count and what. Then the Britons used what? Machine guns. With a spear, you only kill one person. With a machine gun, how many people do you kill in a minute?
Yeah.
America have the world's best fighting jets, the ones that we don't have in South Africa. Imagine if we make a war against them and they use their flying jets against us. What's going to happen to us? They have some well equipment that we don't have. They have the world's best grenades. They know how to make grenades. Us, we don't know. We'll be waiting for supply. While we are fighting, when will the supply arrive here? How many people would have died if the supply arrived here? You see, we can't take on America no matter what we do. We can't take them on.
You know, this conversation is the same conversation like, are we going to catch up to the white people economic state? Is there going to be a time whereby like a black person is equal to a white person?
Now, least
According to you?
Nah,
Not anytime soon.
not in
And besides being anytime soon, is there going to be a time?
No,
Or it will forever be like this?
forever be like this. If this government we're having,
Besides the government, let's say we get the right government, are we going to catch up to the white people?
There's a possibility you might catch up.
with the right government,
How?
With the right government, we may catch up.
By doing what?
Like by having. Let me tell you about something. In South Africa, we're always crying about corruption and stuff. As we know, all over the world, there's corruption.
Yeah.
But there's corruption where you are doing corruption while you're also doing the job. For example, you get a tender for building 10 bridges. In other countries in Europe, they may build 9 and eat the money for the one bridge. In South Africa here, you give a tender for 10 bridges, they eat all the money for 10 bridges. So you see there will be no progress that way. Even if you are building 9 bridges while eating the money for one, there's progress. Because you build something, but if you don't build it all, then there will never be progress. So that's how the government in South Africa is. That's how they're eating the money. They're not even try to make a little progress. So by the way the government is leading us, we won't catch the white people. Unless, but I don't think they're going to change.
You think so?
I don't think they're going to change.
No, I have nothing to add.
No, I think if that's the mentality that we have right now, or like we shouldn't, if America wants to start war with South Africa, we shouldn't get into such wars. I think with that mentality, we will never catch up to white people. Why am I saying this? Yes, you saying if we find the right people to govern us, maybe we might have a chance to catch up to the white people. But then you are forgetting that white people are governed by their own people with more money than us, with more money than the government itself, because white people are the ones piping money into the government system. White people. So if let's say we have people that can govern us the right way, do you think our white people would still be continuing pumping money into the system? No, they won't.
They won't.
I think the only way we can catch up is if we get rid of white people in our country. But if they're still here, there's no way we can catch up to them, because they're the ones with money. even if the government starts doing the right thing, there's no way, because they have the money and they are governing their own people. So if, let's say, someone is at 10 and we are at 1, once you start running with a faster pace, and then maybe you are on 4, they can see where you are coming.
Yeah.
And then Bona, they have resources, they have money, they have everything. They will make sure they equip themselves to run faster.
Okay.
Because when you are running from hunger,
I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
but let me ask you a question. Name one country that is successful and has no white people in it. One country, Jay. One, not two, one.
that is successful
Yeah,
and has
that
no...
you know that this country is doing better and it has no white people living in that country.
Let me tell you this.
None.
Right
Even
now,
even if we say okay.
right now there isn't, and the only answer to me saying that there isn't is because white people force themselves into Africans.
I hear you.
They left their land to force themselves into Africans.
Okay.
And then now, if you tell the white person to go back to their countries, they won't. Why? Because they made sure their system, they created systems that works for them. What is the systems? They will tell you the constitution doesn't allow for you to do this and this. Even the democratic system, it will tell you you can't do that. It's against human rights
Okay.
for you to do that.
Let's say we kick.
And you think who created the democratic system? You think a black person created a democratic system?
No.
It's a white man system. It can never work for us. It's not our system. It was designed by white people for white people.
In South Africa here, okay, let's say we kick out all of the white people. We're only going to end up like Zimbabwe. What's the use of having resources if you don't have the machinery or you don't have the people?
What kind of a machinery?
Machinery, the ones like in South Africa we have raw materials, we know that.
Yes.
But you know that raw materials alone doesn't make money.
Let's say,
Doesn't bring you money.
let me
So let's
give
say we kick them out. Then we're going to end up like Zimbabwe. People in Zimbabwe are running away. Why are they running away? Because there are no job opportunities. The health service is very bad there. People are running away from their country because they want jobs. So if we kick out white people, then it's gonna be like that in South Africa.
No. So what do you have to say?
I'm still thinking.
Now I'm saying, or like, we have the raw materials, they have the machineries to produce final products from the raw materials that we have. If we preserve our raw materials, they preserve their machineries. What are they going to produce without the raw materials?
They won't produce, but which country will suffer? Us or them? Which country
No
will suffer?
country will, no side of, if we kick all white people out of Africa, I don't think Africans will suffer. Before white men came to Africa, Africans were not suffering. Why did white people think, or like, we must go somewhere to look for something so that we can take back home? Why are people from rural areas coming into the city? It's because you are looking for something to feed yourself, and if you are comfortable, you won't leave your home. There's no way.
Yeah.
The fact that white people took a decision to go somewhere else to look for something is because they lacked something, and then they found a place, or this is what we lacked and we're gonna take it. Africans were comfortable. That's why they didn't even have the mind capacity to think, or we can go somewhere to look for something. They had everything. Yes, they didn't have the machineries and the infrastructure to advance their, let's say, because then they would extract gold from the ground, not even from the ground, because gold was almost everywhere, even from right now, because in Congo, there's a gold floating here on the ground. There's gold. That's why there's a war in there. So before the white man came here, there was gold literally on the ground. So they didn't have the machinery to maybe make a nice necklace, the designs and what, but they could make necklaces.
But not using gold.
Using the gold, Mansa Musa went country to country giving people jewelry gold. He collapsed the economy of Ethiopia because he came to Ethiopia with a lot of gold and gave a normal citizen gold. He collapsed the economy by doing that. Mansa Musa. So Africans lacked nothing because we have the main. Yes, maybe you can't. We didn't have the what can I say? I don't know if I should say the mind capacity to think, or like maybe this thing can make a macaroni. But then with what we had, we could eat, be fed. We could be under our own shelters. They were not advanced as this, but then we had everything.
With no complaints, basically.
With no complaints, because you can't look for something that you know nothing of.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't know, or like there's something like KFC, you wouldn't be craving for KFC. You only crave for KFC because maybe you saw it on TV, saw someone eating it, and you thought maybe that's. But if you didn't have TV and you had no idea, or there's something called KFC, there's a fried chicken, you wouldn't even crave it. There's no way. That same meat that is cooked with water and what, that's what you were going to crave, because that's what you know.
All right. I hear you. As we know, Africa.
White people only beat us with the systems. That's the only thing that they beat us. And because it is used worldwide. And if we are not ready to fight white people, we will forever be under their regime. If we are not ready, because what you are saying is that we rather die on our knees. That's what you are saying. For the little that we get from all these Europeans and American countries, it's enough for us. They can take. The little that we receive from them, they can take.
So what you're proposing is that we start a genocide, like black on white war. That's what you're saying.
Yes, because that's what they did to us.
The past is in the past. You know that, right?
Bro, there's no future if you forget your past.
We haven't forgotten our past, but creating a genocide is never the end.
It is.
No.
It is. I
How
think
do
it
you
is.
think it is?
It is. That's the only way black person will have their own independence. Yes, there's a possibility, a huge one, that we will lose the war against white people. But then, are you going to stand on the possibility that the huge possibility that you are going to lose against white people, where else the small percentage that is on you that maybe you might win, that small percentage, you don't have hope in yourself and believe in yourself that with that little percentage that we can win, you don't have that hope and believe. Now you are choosing to believe the stats that America has this amount of machinery.
Sometimes it's not about looking at the stats. When you know, you know.
How do you know? Because it's based on the stats.
Who doesn't know that America is the biggest country when it comes to financial, military weapons? Who doesn't know that?
Yes, they have that, but then what are you going to do? Because even
It's like you're saying,
our forefathers, they didn't have the machinery. Just like the example you just gave.
did they win the war? Did
They-
they win the war?
Yes, they did, because Europeans went back to
If they won the war,
No, they came back. The ones that were they didn't die based on that war went back to Europe and came back with more machinery.
because they had weapons, advanced
Yes,
weapons.
but then-
we didn't. But in the end, who won the war? if we had won the war, do you think white people would have been on the country, on this country or continent of Africa, if we had really won the war?
So are you saying we should just give up?
I'm not saying we should just give up, but I'm saying that we lost the war.
Yeah.
If we had won the war, then there wouldn't be any white people in the continent of Africa or in the country of South Africa. And genocide won't help. Killing each other won't help, because eventually we got used to living with each other. South Africa, as we know, is a rainbow nation. So we work well together. So fighting each other is going to create many, many problems. What about families who are a black person and a white person who are married? If the war starts, then it means they're going to have to separate, right?
I think that's the sacrifice we are going to have to make.
No, but it won't work.
It won't
No,
work.
this
like,
age,
you know,
it won't work.
sometimes you have to make decisive decisions.
Yeah.
It won't work.
Because
Because
you know why it's very important. Like, if you get into a boardroom that is maybe 50% female, 50% male, it will be difficult to make one decisive decision. Why? Because all the suggestions will be filled with emotions. Why? Because there's women around the table. Because if I come up with an idea, or you know what, let's open a mine somewhere in Rustenburg, in this location, a woman would suggest, oh, there's people living there, and what. As a man, you don't think like that. All you want is that there's gold there.
okay, I hear you.
You have
Let's
to
say-
make decisive.
let's say-
So that's just like how white people didn't see Dorma. What we're doing, like, yes, we want the raw materials and whatnot, but then the way we are going to get them is not a nice day. You know why? They didn't even think like that. There were no women or feelings in those discussions. Because if there were, there's no way you can kill a person just to take what's theirs.
You know what I think? I think the problem here, let me not say the problem. The thing is that we are focusing too much on the things of the past. Like I
No,
think
now I'm in the
from-
future.
From how I'm looking at it, I think we're still focusing on the fact that during the apartheid days, white people used to harass black people and stuff. That's why South Africa is known as a democratic country. It means we make peace. We live
No,
with
this,
each
the
other
democratic
happily.
system is designed by white people. It can never work for us.
Still, okay, let's say there's a genocide war. Do you think this establishment is owned by a black person?
Which one?
Wherever, yeah, this
No,
establishment
it's owned by a
by
white.
white person.
Yes.
Do you think universities are owned by black people?
No.
Do you think many things in South Africa are owned by black people?
No.
So let's say if there's a war, then white people decide to keep what's theirs. What's going to happen to the people of South Africa?
So what are you saying is that without the education that we're getting from white people, because the education system is by white people, was not designed to benefit black people. The education that we get compared to the education that a white person from Europe gets, it's not the same.
It's not the same, but education is education, my friend.
So
We will
are you
have the same
saying,
knowledge. Even if you go to a multiracial school, I go to a government school, we will be
No.
taught the same thing. I will have the same knowledge as you. Doesn't
No.
matter which school you go.
no, are you saying, or like before white people came to Africa, there was no education?
There was education,
So
but do you think in South Africa there was education? by
there
that
was
time?
education.
By that time.
Yes, there was. Dog, if, let's say I have a kid right now who's a little boy, and I teach him how to make a bow arrow, and then so that he can have a nice thingy to shoot at the springbok and kill it. That's education, bro.
You know,
That is education.
that is education.
Yes.
But times change. As times
In
change,
terms of what?
we move with the change. It's in the first, it's the first 21st century right now.
So are you saying
do you
if
think that knowledge from back then, if you had, let me say, okay, you are from back then,
yes,
then I take you, I bring you to the future. Do you think you were going to be able to adapt?
it's very difficult to compare the two, because a child that is born now compared to a child that is born back then is not the same in terms of right now we are civilized people. We are civilized people, you know. we are the Gen Zs and whatnot. So they were living in different conditions, you know. We are living in different conditions. Even if white people pulled out their education system, I think we have the mind capacity to make our own education system. Unless if you don't think or a black person is intelligent enough to create their own education system.
We're intelligent.
So
Intelligent enough.
how are you saying you are intelligent by the information that was given to you by a white person? Where is your intelligence? Because that intelligence was fed to you by a white person. The books that you are reading, the faculty that you are under, modules that you are doing was taught by a white person. Where is your intelligence?
As you said.
Because you are just a good memory stick.
As you said. It's a system.
Basically, you are just a good memory stick.
It's a system.
You
as
can
said.
store a lot of information fed to you and keep it. And then whenever a white person saying, I want this and this and this, you can remember, oh, yes, I was taught this. Here is it. Just like a trained doctor. A trained doctor that, you know, let's say after 8 years of doing whatever doctorate you were doing, and then let's say you do not get a job, and then you go to social media or there's a lack of job opportunities, you are not a doctor. You are just a good memory stick because you are waiting for someone to hire you and do what you were taught. You are not a doctor because if you were a doctor, your job as a doctor is to help people. You can still help people without being employed. You are just a good memory stick. Because then you are waiting for the boss to say, yeah, you can come and be a doctor. Here's money, be a doctor with what I told you to do. And if there's a patient coming, you remember, like, at school they said, first thing you must do when a patient comes, you must check their temperature. You were not born with that information. You were fed that information by a white person. So are you saying to me, or like, before white people came, we as black people, when a child gets sick, we didn't know what to do with that situation?
We knew.
We knew. Just that we are so brainwashed to think, or this is the way. We are fed this information by the white men, and we are being made to believe that without this, we are nothing.
I hear you, but obvious. In order for things to be like this, as we know, when they came to Africa, they destroyed our history, they destroyed our culture and stuff, and also brainwashed our people from back then. So if they destroyed our history and brainwashed our people, obviously things that they were going to teach us, we were all going to learn them, because if we didn't learn them,
Yes.
then today we wouldn't have no history, we wouldn't have no culture. So it's like we didn't have a choice. Let me put it that way. We didn't have a choice.
At the time, yeah.
You understand me? Ane?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we didn't have a choice. So
I'm saying we always have a choice.
but
It's like, let's say there was a robbery right now, right? People came with guns, and then they say we must raise our hands. Then they take all our gadgets. You had a choice. You made a choice. Or I'm not going to do anything to save my life. You always had a choice. Your choice is, do I react to this situation and try to be a hero? Maybe I might get killed doing that, or I just sit, let them take whatever so that I can be safe. You made a choice. You always have a choice. Just like now, Orling, we must not entertain any wars because these people are well equipped. That's a choice we are making. Like I was suggesting, or if America comes to us and say they want war, we are going to that war.
sharp, I hear you.
We always
But-
have a choice.
We always have a choice, but you know that as a bigger person, like when there's war, you must not only look at the war on the military side. Look at the positive things before the war. Like, for example, South Africa, how can I put this? South Africa, we trade. Most of our economy comes from trading. So if there's a war, and we also mostly trade big with America, if there's a war, then trading stops. There will be no job opportunities. And don't forget that trading does not only focus on trading. You own a business. I buy something from you, and then I trade. If trading stops, I don't have money to buy. Your business will also suffer. You understand me?
Yeah.
So we must not look at war in terms on the military side, but we must also look at it on the economic and on the social and the environment. So if there's a war, many things are going to change, and it's not going to be good. So that's why I'm saying that a war is not going to help us with anything, but it's going to make us suffer. That's why I'm saying that.
I think we can take a quick break. Take two. Action. Yeah, you were saying, my brother, or like we should look at war not only with the eye of maybe the army war and whatnot. We should look at other factors like how it's going to affect businesses and whatnot. But then that's a typical example. Like if I am a ShopRite, I'm the ShopRite owner. I have goods, that I want to sell to the community. The community wants to buy from me so that they can eat. If I say, if you don't do this and this, I'm not going to build a ShopRite in your thingy. So are you saying, or like without that, without you agreeing to my terms, I as a businessman, what am I going to sell? Because I have made these goods that I need to sell, and then I don't have buyers that are going to buy these goods. Because what you're saying is that, or like, if this war happens, America, we will stop trading with America. America is not the only country in the world. Even with African countries, we can still trade.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because then if America has all these services and goods that they want to sell, if the relationship between America and South Africa ends, it means they will be producing less than they were producing with South Africa, with the South African relationship, because they will have less products and goods to provide. So it means it will affect their economy as well in terms of jobs, because jobs will be lost in terms of, like, if at a factory I'm producing 50 pill charts of cans, and then one of the people that I supply to decides to shut down their shops. Now I'm forced to produce 35 because I don't have people to supply to. It means I'm making less profit than I was when I was producing 50. So it means as I'm making less profit, I must fire some of my staff so that I can still make that profit that I was making. Jobs will be lost. So it goes both ways. If we lose business on our side, or like people will lose jobs and whatnot, America will also lose business from their side.
I hear you, Le, but as you know, how can I put this? Well, we are already trading with America, but still we have a serious problem of unemployment. If there's a war and then we stop trading, while we have a serious issue of unemployment, what do you think will happen to the unemployment rate? Okay.
Let me tell you what's going to happen.
America may have unemployment problems, but they won't have more like us.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. America is benefiting from us, the raw materials that we have. If the relationship between America and South Africa stops, we will have more raw materials at our disposal. Because the deals between America and South Africa is not fair on South Africa. America is benefiting more. So if we have more raw materials at our hands, and those deals were made a long time ago, even if you come as a president now, it's difficult to terminate those deals, because you don't know. Let's say as we're signing a contract right now, or you are going to supply gold for me for 50 years, and when you come as a president, you find out or the contract still has 30 more years to go. There's no way you are going to terminate that contract, because if you terminate that contract, it stimulates this is the amount of money you have to pay for the termination of contract. So you are forced to just go on with the deal that you found already there as a president. So if America right now decides to terminate or cut all ties with South Africa, it means South Africa will have the raw materials at their disposals. Now they have the chance to go to other nations and negotiate new deals based on good benefiting conditions that will benefit South Africa more than it was when it was supplying for America. Because right now, like as black people, every other president that comes into the state, we blame him, or like, we gave you 4 years, there's nothing changing. You don't know, or like, what kind of contracts he found there. You don't know. Why not you just want things to happen because we gave him the 4 years? White people are not stupid to make contracts, short-term contract, or are you going to supply for me for 10 years? They are not stupid. They will give you a contract that they know very well, or whoever president is coming next is not gonna change this.
Okay, let me give you an example. As we know, South Africa supplies America with avocados, right? And when those avocados
With gold, don't even talk about.
I'm making
an example. Yeah.
South Africa is supplying America with
avocados.
avocados. So even the avocados that they get from South Africa.
Yes.
And South Africa takes those avocados while they are raw and flies them to America. When they get to America, they are fully produced. And then while they are producing, if South Africa says we want 50 rand, for example, if South Africa says we want 50 rand, and then America says, no, I will give you 35 rand, do you think South Africa will bring back those avocados? They won't bring them back, because if they bring them back and get here to South Africa, they will be rotten, those avocados. So they don't have a choice than to do what? To take that 35, because they know if they bring those avocados back, it will be a loss. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do understand what you're saying, but then right now, that type of mentality, you're not thinking like a proper businessman. Yes, you are going to make a loss, but then if America was in such state whereby like they send 50 avocados to a country, and at that country then they say we want 50 rand, that country says no, we will give you 35 rand. Do you think America will say, okay, give us 35 rand, because if we return those avocados, they will be rotten by the time? No, you say we're not giving you anything. Even if they rot, you are not getting anything. You know why? It's a loss from us, but they never got anything. Because if you agree to the 35 rand, now you are obeying their rules. You are under their rules, and they benefited 50 avocados. It's a mind game, this thing. It's a negotiation. It's like you saying, I'm selling this phone with 500 rand, and say, dog, I have 350. So are you saying just because you came to the table to discuss, or when you are selling this phone, you don't want to go back home with nothing? You're gonna take the 350 that I have?
I will take it.
That's a bad business.
You have a choice.
That's not a business.
Oh, you know what they say? How can I put this?
As long as I have something, it's a bad business.
As we know, South Africa is a still developing country, right? Mm-hmm. America is a well-developed country. Mm-hmm. In order for us to be well-developed, we also need help from the developed countries. You understand me, right?
Yeah.
You can't say when I'm the one helping you and you are the one seeking help from me, and then you bring your own terms, then you think I will agree. You know that. So if I say 35, I know that even if you don't sell me those things, I won't have a loss. I won't worry. You know that you will have a loss. So that's why South Africa sometimes when they are trading because they know that they don't have a choice. We can't go back with these things. That's the way trading is. You can't take things here and take them overseas and then come back with them. It will not be good for the economy.
But then you're forgetting one thing. All the developing countries, at some point, all the developed countries, at some point, they were developing countries. And they did not become developed countries by being a yes man to other countries. America, for instance, became what it is right now because of this man called John D. Rockefeller, the first billionaire, the first American billionaire. By doing what? America at that time was so this man, America doesn't have any gold, no, the oil, crude anyway. But then he went to an Arab country because he had a little bit of money. He went to an Arab country and say, you know what, I'm gonna build a bit of building structures like construction, you know. I'm gonna build this, then you can make your shops and then you give me oil. When you think what this person is helping you, it's not. This thing is about information. You know what's valuable and what's, cause you gave him the valuable and then he gave you the one you think or it's worth it. When you think or like maybe he will tell you or this building cost about $500 million or something like that. And you can see the document or in America there that building cost that. But then yes, it cost that amount, but then that amount is an amount that was made by another businessman. It did not cost that amount to make that building. Like right now, you can build a 4-room house by, let's say, 90,000, and then you want to sell that 4-room house by 250,000. Why? Because you want to benefit. So you go to another country, so this is what it costs to build this thing. And then when are you getting the raw materials from them? There's nothing more valuable than a raw material. Why do you think or these European countries and American countries come to Africa to look for these raw materials if they are not that much valuable? They have the machinery. Why are not doing anything with that machinery, with whatever they find in their continent? Why are they're not doing anything with those machineries? What are you going to do if you have machineries but then you don't have anything to produce with those materials?
They won't do anything, bro.
Exactly, but even if you don't have machineries but you have the raw materials, you can do something. You can do something. If I plant a milli mill, I don't have the machinery to maybe refine it to make it look like a 12 kg what. But then there's stones. I can, just like how we were doing before the white man came into. I will make pulp from that. It won't be as refined as the 12.5 that we have now. But then I can still make pulp from that.
So if you're saying that you won't trade, in other words, are you saying that you can eat pap until? Because we know that
we have cows.
We know that maize meal is not only used to make, a meal is not only used to make maize meal. There are many things.
Like what? Don't tell me Simba chips.
I'm not saying Simba chips. Many things.
Like what?
Meal is not only used for meals. You can also, your canned meal, you know that they can those meals and stuff.
The most important is meal.
We know.
Those are just extras, man. They're just extras. The most important, as long as you eating pap and meat, or there's a 7 color, oh, those are just extras. The beautiful things that white people sold to us, or this is what you can have. Imagine this. They came with a mirror and said, look at yourself. Aren't you beautiful? Give me a cow. Why don't you show her I'm beautiful? This thing is valuable. It's a mirror.
No, you're right.
Even if you can put it there for 50 years. If I take 2 cows and I gave you 50 mirrors, 10 years from now, whether you will still have that mirror, I will have 50 cows. So the white men beat us with the mind game. They never beat us with anything. The mind game. When they came to Africa, they came prepared. Not prepared maybe with the machineries. Those are just extras. They had a mind game that they knew this is how we're going to do it. They did not come unprepared or like, no, we're going to just shoot them and then they kill and then we take. No, they knew what they were going to do and how they are going to do it. As soon as you started finding them, they implemented systems. Now, whatever you do, you can't fight the system because everything in the world runs with systems that was created by them. It works for them by them. So unless you get rid of white people in Africa, we're still going to be under white people forever and ever. Amen.
You know that,
there's nothing we can
in
do.
order to control people or to get rid of them, you have to be trained psychological first. That's just like how they did in the apartheid. They controlled our grandmothers and grandfathers because they damaged them psychological. So if as black people we are not fixed from the apartheid traumas, then we won't do anything. They will still respect the white man because they are not psychologically trained enough to see that this person is just like me. The only difference is what? Skin color. So if you don't train them psychologically, then nothing is going to happen. But then, because they damaged our ancestors psychological. You know that the best winning mentality is psychological. You can beat me and stuff, but if I'm mentally strong, you won't do anything to me. So they did what? They damaged them psychologically in order to control them to think that they need them. So in order for them to think that they don't need them, you have to change them psychological. So if you don't do that, then it won't happen. Nothing will happen.
But then, how do you train yourself psychologically while you still have reminders of the people who damaged your mind around you? It's like you trying to move on from your ex while you're still in the same class. Every day you see her, but you want to move on. You are being reminded of her. Let's say your ex cheats on you with your best friend, and then there's a video of them on social media, and you still have to see them every fucking day. How are you going to move on from them?
We won't.
You
Just
won't.
like now.
Exactly.
We are only talking, but we know that they won't leave because we are not the government. We don't have the power to do anything.
No, this is way beyond the government.
Okay,
There's
the
nothing.
laws that they have, we can change the
The
laws.
only thing that we can do is to physically chase them out.
You know that if
There's no way you can beat their system. There's no way.
In the times of now, we know that countries work together and in the Bill of Rights and stuff and that. We know that if we chase them physically and start committing a genocide, we will face sanctions from countries all over the world, not only from one country. We will face sanctions from countries all over the world because it will be considered as it is human brutality. So it won't help us unless we challenge them legally. Then legal is the only way, but we know that legally doesn't work and it takes time. But if you take the law into your own hands, all of the countries will be turning against you.
Whose law is that? A white man's law.
It is how it is.
Because
we found it like that. We're gonna
tell me one law that was created by a black man.
I don't know.
One law,
I
just
don't know.
one, that was created by black men. All the laws that we have in South Africa was created by a white person.
We found them like that, and we're gonna leave them like that. There's nothing we won't do about it.
Okay, There's exactly my point. It's either we unplug from the system and then we throw them out of Africa, or we are agreeing that we will always be under
Okay,
them.
so if let's say we succeed in chasing all of the white people out of the country, then we have a sanction.
Not country, continent.
Okay, we succeed in doing that, but then we have a sanctions. No country in the world wants to work with us. What's gonna happen?
Africa.
Why do you think these European countries with their riches, with their all machineries, still wants to be part of Africa?
Because obviously
We are the poorest of the poor according to the stats that was made by them. We are the poorest continent in the world, but they still want to be part of us. Why do you think that?
we are poor.
We are
okay.
not poor, dog.
According to the stats, we are poor maybe when it comes to education and stuff, but mineral is obvious. We are the richest continent.
That's why
in the
they
world.
don't want to separate themselves from us. That's why.
Still, we are
That's,
rich.
that's why.
We know that we are rich, friend. But what I'm saying,
With their riches, they know what if they unplug, they separate themselves from us. Their riches are not going anywhere.
they won't go anywhere.
They won't go anywhere.
We succeed.
Because they will be among themselves with their riches. And then we'll be among ourselves with our own riches. They have money, they have paper money. They have their forex money. We have the resources.
I hear you. I hear you.
We have the resources. We can eat. The most important, as long as you are alive, what do you want? You want Wi-Fi? You want an iPhone? As long as you are alive, they can have their iPhone. Their food will start depleting. They have to come to Africa. And then if they come to us, they must beg, or else there's war. But then they know like they can't have that, because if they start begging, it will be on our terms. So rather they do what? They come with war. Take it one country after another. Because if they defeat one country, it means the remaining people of that country become soldiers to fight another country. They defeat that country, the remaining people of that country become soldiers to fight another country. That's how they colonized Africa.
Yeah.
I have no comment.
So white people, what I'm saying is that, dog, the white people, they are not better than us. They just beat us at a mind game. But that if our mindsets are still within the white man system, we will never get anywhere. We will still be under a white man ruling forever and ever until this world ends. I don't know if such a thing will ever happen, but then until then we will forever be in a white man ruling, because they are controlling everything, even Christianity. Some of us, we are now Christianity. Before white men came into Africa, there was no such thing. But now if you tell someone or Christianity, they will fight till they die. But if you tell a black man now, let's fight these people, they will tell, just like you were saying, you want us to die. But then tell them about Christianity, they will fight till they die. They are fighting for a white man system with their whole life. But then if you tell them, let's fight for our own, they will say, you stupid, you want to die. You know America.
But do you blame them? Because that's what they were taught. You can't teach yourself something you don't know. You can't teach
So
yourself
basically,
something. If you are born into a system that works in a certain way, you will grow and adapt to the system. That's how it will be. You can't teach yourself something you don't know. So do you blame them if they say they are fighting?
no, I
for
don't
it?
blame
See?
them. Basically, the problem of Africa, we have weak leaders. we have weak leaders. Because then we are born into a system. If we had strong leaders, they will tell us that this is not how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be, and we are going to be like this. Even if in a country full of 50 million people, you recruit 50,000 people, you've won. You have won. Because the only thing, just like how you saying, or like, we were born into the system and whatnot, and it keeps getting worse and worse because these white people keep implementing their systems to us. They're feeding us everything. Now, if you can tell someone to go off grid, let's say unplug them, if Europe now decides to switch off the satellites to Africa, there's no network, people will die. People will die. Just a simple thing as a network, there's no network. People will die from that.
I'd rather say be left behind than die. No. Can you
No!
die because there's no Wi-Fi and stuff?
Dog,
Unless
dog,
you like
have,
be left
have
behind.
you, have you
not
been in a
die.
situation where there's no network for almost the whole day?
Yeah.
Do you know how that feeling? Let's say you are within the knowledge that the person who's responsible for the network not being available is this person. Do you think people of South Africa would still be at their homes just chilling, or they will be going to that person's house to burn that house? Or how can you make such a decision to switch the network?
Yeah, you are right, but now I'm disagreeing with the part of dying. Unless the part of being left behind, not knowing what's happening around the world, yeah, I agree with you. But dying, no.
No, that leads to death, because, like I'm saying, they will be going to that person's household, and then if that person is a firm leader and still sticks to their decision, they will burn him down, and that's a death.
You know that in South Africa, there are many rural areas that have network problems, like poor network problems, but people are still okay. They're not dying and stuff, they're still okay.
That you know, when you know from a young age that this is the norm, it's not a rare thing. Like right now, we know in the middle of the city, it's rare for a network to go off for like more than 2 hours. It's rare. So if it does go off for more than 2 hours, you'll be frustrated. But for someone in the rural areas, for a network to go for 4 hours, it's a normal thing. So they wouldn't be frustrated. It's just how they were conditioned to our networking. They are more social, like they talk with each other face to face. They don't talk via text, they visit each other. It's because that's the life there. Here you can talk with someone who's in that room with your phone, but where else you can just go and visit them. But then you can, what's up? You talk with the phone because you are conditioned to be like that. From a young age, now a 3-year-old is on TikTok. So do you think when they reach 17 or 18 and there's no network for almost the whole day, they wouldn't be frustrated?
They will be frustrated.
Exactly. It's because that's the way they were conditioned. By what? White man. But that's it for today's episode. I would like to take this opportunity to thank these two gentlemen for joining us on the 26th episode of Kasika's podcast. My brother from the right, Kazman, Koketso, Pelo deep behind the camp, Mula Ranks. We were here We came, we saw, we conquered, Kasi cast, better beke, begele beke. I will leave you with the words of the most famous lady. If you doing nothing is hard work. Better beke, begele beke. Azish.